Hello, welcome to the show. Thanks for watching on social media. We're about to start the actual radio version of the show now.
Now, Behind the Law with Justin Clark and Allie Mack on ESPN 580 Orlando.
And welcome to the program. It's another edition of Behind the Law right here on ESPN 580 Orlando. Attorney Justin Clark with you as we are every single weeknight at 8 o'clock p.m. on Sunday mornings at 10 a.m. on our favorite sports radio station. You could also watch 2 TV shows this weekend. And every single weekend, Saturday, it is You Have Real Estate with me, Attorney Justin Clark, 12:30 p.m. on CBS, and then Sunday at 10 a.m. on TV 27. It is this show, Behind the Law, but it's Behind the Law on television. Also, you can watch the radio program by following at Behind the Law Radio on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, any social media platform, and engage with us and ask me any questions right there as well. To my right, it is Brianna. Hi, Brianna. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
So, OG Brianna's still out today, huh?
She is.
Did we figure out? Yesterday, I accused her of being at the bar, but it turns out it was her kid's graduation. Understandable. Do we know where she is today?
I'm not sure.
Do you really not know where she is?
No,
or you,
no, I don't.
do know where she is, you just don't want to tell me?
No, I don't. I thought you would know.
No. Hey, Brianna, OG Brianna, if you're listening right now, which I'm sure you are, you never miss a show, let us know where you are, because I really don't know. Maybe I should call Ali, because normally Ali knows where everybody is, right? I don't know where OG is. You really don't know?
I don't know. I would tell you if I did.
All right, fine. We're going to do the news today. We'll also play Stump the Clarkie in the second half hour, and an awesome interview throughout the show with attorney Jackie Laverne. We're going to talk all things student loans. If you have any student loan issue, your kid has a student loan issue, someone you know has a student loan issue, there are not a lot of people who know how to help you deal with those issues. And if you've listened to the show for any length of time at all, you know that I think there are 2 major issues in this country when it comes to finances, and it's, number 1, the cost of health insurance, and number 2, student loans. Major issue here in this country, and we got to figure out what to do. We're going to demystify your student loan problems throughout the program today, but first, we're going to do some news here. Something tells me, Brianna, you have some basketball stories today. I'm just guessing. Do you or no?
I do.
Yeah,
like always.
She's a huge LeBron James fan, first of all. But I think I heard her talking about KD when I walked in the room today. So I don't know. What do you think of KD? You like him or no?
No, I don't.
Why is that? What do you not like about him?
I don't like the fact that he had to go to the Warriors to win a ring.
Right. I don't like
He had
that
other
either.
options.
I agree. Well, without further ado, it's time to do some news.
All right, so what's going on? Did you see the game last night against the Raptors against the Bucks?
I got home a little bit late. I had a graduation party to go to, but I did see the end of it.
You did?
Yeah.
So they took a 3-2 lead.
They were down 2-0.
They were.
You know?
That's
and
amazing.
they won 3 in a row. I mean, are they going to win the series? I guess
I think
so.
Yeah, I believe so. Tomorrow night they should close it out, but they're not going to beat the Warriors regardless.
I
so.
think a lot of people going into the series thought that the Greek Freak was better than what's his face,
Kawhi.
but I think that's certainly not the case anymore.
No,
What do you think? Who's better?
I think Kawhi is better.
I do too, man.
Yeah, he has more talent.
No doubt about it.
But the Greek Freak, give him a few more years, he'll be good. He'll be great, actually.
I mean, he's what, 6'11"?
Yeah.
Wingspan like 7'2". But I don't know, Kawhi's just a basketball player.
No, he's an overall good player. Yeah. All right, and then Whole Foods, so they're going to ban plastic straws. So starting July, they're going to have paper straws so they can be more environmentally friendly.
I'm so glad you brought this up because, first of all, I understand plastic is bad, but I'm telling you, I hate these paper straws. I
Really?
do. I hate them. They just feel weird in my mouth. Okay. I want to support the environment, but can we figure out something a little bit better than these paper straws?
I've never used paper straws.
Oh, they're terrible. I mean, they really do feel weird.
Really?
I don't like it. It's you know what it feels like? It feels like putting paper in your mouth. It really does. So plastic straws are bad because they're just like plastic bottles. It's just bad for the environment, or
No,
what?
I think people don't recycle plastic straws, so basically goes to the ocean or to the land mills and things like that. But I think it's a great way to save the environment.
Yeah, you should
basically.
try it. Yeah, because you've never tried a paper straw.
Yeah. And then Coca-Cola. So they're coming out with a new Coke can in honor of the 3rd season of Stranger Things. Have you ever seen that show, Stranger Things?
Absolutely
I was
not.
No,
No,
what?
of course not. I don't know anything about it. What is it?
It's about, I saw the 1st season, so it's about a teenage boy who was kidnapped by like a monster.
Let me guess. It's on Netflix,
Netflix.
Zulu,
No, it's
Hulu,
on Netflix.
Amazon Prime. Where I can't even keep up with all these places to watch shows. There's so many shows out there anymore. I have no idea. So it's on Netflix?
It's on Netflix.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, I was obsessed with season 1. I was hooked. I binge watched the entire season in one day. That's how good it was.
You got to get a job or something.
No, I was obsessed. But I didn't see season 2 or I don't plan on seeing season 3.
Why?
Because once they found the boy, it's like the show was over for me. There's no point in watching it
It
anymore.
jumped the shark at that point.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Anything else on the news today?
That is all.
That's the weirdest thing I've ever heard. So you love season 1.
I know.
Obsessed, watch it all in one day, but you refuse to even watch season 3?
I did not. Once they found the boy, I was fine. I was like, okay, they found him. No other need to watch.
I mean, don't you think that's kind of like you're not very loyal? I
No,
would say.
I'm not.
That's really weird to me.
I am not.
Yeah, I can understand like, I got busy, so I couldn't get to season 2.
I
But just
tried
that-
the first episode of season 2 and I was bored. So
Really?
yeah, season 1 was great though. I can say that for sure.
I don't know if I like that about you. You just give up. You just abandon ship like that.
I did.
You must not have loved it as much as you thought you did.
No, probably not.
It is Behind the Law, ESPN 580 Orlando. Justin Clark here. If you have any questions, 321-282-1055. The website for the law firm, which has plenty of information about what we are about to talk about, is youhavepower.com. youhavepower.com. Joining me here to my left on the red microphone, good friend, great attorney here in the office, Jackie Laverne. Jackie, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good to see you. All right, so you do a lot of student loan work. You and I kind of work on it together.
Yes.
How many lawyers out there right now really handle student loan cases?
A handful. Not
Very
very many.
few, right?
Yeah.
Because it's such a new area of law. No one really knows what they're doing. It's sort of the wild, wild west in a lot of ways in the legal world. Student loans. And it's new, you know? No one's really figured out how to really deal with student loan problems. Tell me a little bit quickly about the power that student loan companies have. Like Amex, they got to sue you, go through the whole process.
Right.
Do student loans really have to go through that process to come take your money?
It depends on what kind of student loans we're talking about. If you have federal government-backed student loans, they can just garnish your wages, garnish your Social Security. They just come in kind of like the IRS. They have a lot of power. But private student loans, they act more like credit cards. They have to sue you before they can take action like that. It's the federal ones that have a lot of power behind them.
Do you find a lot of people who are not paying their student loans are really getting garnished, not getting their tax refunds? And does it
Yeah.
oftentimes come as a surprise to people?
Yes, they always say, we got one letter, and before you know it, they're already garnishing me. And they had never heard from their servicers in years.
Speak about servicers a little bit, because a lot of our clients who are going through foreclosure will say, oh, I had Aqua, and then it was Bank of America. It started with Countrywide. It's like change. Do you see that with student loans? And what are some of the names of the servicers we see?
Yeah, usually we see them starting out with Navient, FedLoan. I know recently I think Great Lakes changed their names, but once they fall into default, they start moving around different collection agencies, and that's where I think people start getting confused, and that's where the communication stops between the borrowers and now the servicers.
I'll never forget where I was sitting. It was my third year of law school in downtown Boston, Mass. Sitting at the front lobby of the school, and some people had just come back who had graduated a few years ago, and they were making a speech to us, like career day type
Yeah.
of thing. And afterwards, they were talking to us, and they said, you guys are going to really like Sally Mae right now. Sally Mae's great right now, but give it 2 or 3 years, and she becomes a real you-know-what. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because when you're in school, I don't think it really hits you that you're going to have to deal with these student loans when you get out. And they really can come back and bite you quickly.
Yeah.
What are some of the options that we do have when it comes to getting out of school? And then, but before we even talk about the real options, like, is there a grace period when I got out of school? Do I have 6 months before I have to start paying? A year? How does that work?
Yeah. So when you get out of school, like you said, you have the 6-month grace period. They're in a deferment. I think the best thing is to just deal with the student loans. They have a lot of options, especially for federal loans. we need to just deal with them. A lot of people don't want to. You know, it's overwhelming and they're not exactly sure where to start and what to do with them. So the best is to say, all right, what can I afford? How can we get into repayment and deal with them so they aren't taking your refunds, they're not garnishing your wages and doing things. You want to be in control and making payments to them.
So you do have a small grace period right when you get out of school. But then when that grace period ends and you have student loan debt, what options do you really have? That question answered right on the other side of this break. It is Behind the Law, ESPN 580 Orlando. That was 10 minutes?
Yep. I didn't know what you're talking about with basketball
Yeah.
at all.
I have no idea.
I don't follow.
You watch any sports?
I don't. More football.
Football?
Yeah,
Your husband?
Yeah.
What's he into?
football. That's why.
College or
College. I mean, I'm always watching UCF.
Yeah.
So.
Him?
But yeah, he watches everything for football. But basketball,
Yeah.
I like going to games live. That's more fun
Right.
for me.
So you don't know who Katie is? You don't know who
I know
Greek
like the
Freak is?
names.
Oh, yeah.
No, Greek Freak, no idea.
We just have to say Greek Freak because we can never pronounce his last name. It's
Oh,
Giannis
Giannis.
Antetokounmpo,
Yeah.
right? How do you say it? Do you know
I
how
don't know.
to say it? Yeah.
yeah, it's like I don't know. I don't know at all.
The Greek Freak
Not
is
even gonna
much
try.
easier. All right, you ready?
Yep.
Now back to Behind the Law with Justin Clark, right here on ESPN 580 Orlando.
Welcome back to the program, Attorney Justin Clark, 321-282-1055. Joined today, Brianna's here to my right, to my left, Attorney Jackie Laverne. Can I call you Jackie or is it Jacqueline? I know it's Jacqueline,
Jackie.
but you really go by Jackie, right?
Yeah,
This is probably
Jacqueline
something I should have.
football.
How long have we worked together now?
Like a little over a year and
Okay,
a half.
I should have probably asked that question like a year and a half ago.
Jackie
but
is good,
I wanted
yes.
to wait till we did a radio show together again. How many times have we done the show together? 3? This is the third
This
time?
is the third.
Wow, welcome back. You're getting better and better each time. Student loans, something that we focus on here at this firm. We help hundreds of people through their student loan issues. You can feel lost, because you're
Yeah.
getting all these weird letters. You don't even know who you owe the money to. You don't know if you got this loan over here, this loan here. You got loans everywhere. Is there a way to consolidate all these together, and how do I go about doing that?
Yeah, I think that's one of the best moves to make when you're out of school. Consolidate from the beginning, get them together, so that way there's no chance in the future of loans getting, sold off to different servicers and really confusing you years down the road.
How do we deal with the interest rate when you do a consolidation?
So depending on how many loans you have, they'll average it out. So sometimes some of your loans have way lower interest rates, some higher. So it'll give you a good average and just kind of keep you on a good middle ground as opposed to paying tons of interest on one and maybe not as much on the other. It just balances it out.
You remember when we were seeing all those TV commercials for SoFi or Sophie or something like that?
Yes.
I haven't seen them in a while. They were like a refinancing group to refinance your student loans. It must not have worked out for them because I have not
got
seen them at all.
So many of those letters in the mail.
Yeah.
I tossed them.
Have you seen them at all lately?
Not
I've seen them.
recently.
You have seen them lately?
I have.
I haven't seen any advertisements for SoFi or Sophie, whatever it's called,
Yeah.
in a long, long time. Anyway, so let's say that I'm really trying to figure out what I can do with my student loans. And I have no idea. I don't know how much I owe. I don't know who I owe money to. Is there a website I can go to really kind of get accurate information as to what's going on?
Yes. If you have federal student loans, you go to the FSA website where you signed up to take them out initially. We always say the NSLDS, the summary of your loans, basically. So you log in. If you don't have one, you can create a login. Super easy. It's based off your social security number. And then it will show you every loan matched with your social, the type of loan it is, who the servicer is, when you took it out, all that good stuff. So that's a really good starting point to say, all right, how many loans do I have? What am I looking at? And then go from there.
Got it. Tell me about bankruptcy and student loans a little bit. People come into my office all the time and they say, oh, I have IRS debt. I can't wipe that out in bankruptcy. I'm like, yes, you can.
Right.
You know, most IRS debt that's more than 3 years old, you can wipe out in bankruptcy. There's no doubt about it. So when people tell you can't wipe out IRS debt in bankruptcy, they don't know what they're talking about. You need to run. You need to go find a new lawyer. Student loan debt and bankruptcy, how do they work together?
Well, that's a developing topic right now. So initially I always say, well, no, they're going to come out alive from the bankruptcy. You're still going to have to deal with them afterwards for the most part. There's a very, very high standard. We've talked about the Brenner test before of getting them discharged. They make it very difficult for you to reach that in the bankruptcy. But the bankruptcy world and the judges in our bankruptcy division here have really been interested in seeing what we can do with the student loans while we're in a bankruptcy, because they're not getting dealt with properly. You know, they have their cake and eat it too. They're treated like unsecured credit cards, but yet they want to be secured and come out afterwards. So we're exploring the possibilities of mediation, which could result in, you know, negotiating interest rates, balances, and maybe different options for discharge. We have to see where it goes. So right now we're a little limited on what we can do, but it seems like there are changes coming.
Got it. So you mentioned this Brunner test to figure out if you can discharge your student loan debts in bankruptcy. What is that exactly?
Right. So there's a bunch of case law going back and forth on it, but basically you have to show that you don't have the ability to pay the loans back. You've made the good faith effort, which is a little hard to define what that is, to pay them back, and that there's no chance of you paying them back or paying them off. So a lot of the times we go through that 3-prong test and see if we're even going to have a good case. The best way of showing you've made a good faith effort of paying them is getting into an income-based repayment plan, which can be zero, which could be a very minimal amount. But if we don't have that, we know that, you know, our shot can kind of go away if we haven't even tried to do all of the prongs of the test.
Gotcha. You're listening to Behind the Law, ESPN 580 Orlando. Justin Clark. If you have any questions, 321-282-1055. Reach out to me via the website, youhavepower.com. It's youhavepower.com. Brianna's here to my right, talking to attorney Jackie Laverne. We're talking all things student loans. So it is difficult to get your loans discharged in bankruptcy, but I think it's worth coming in and at least reviewing it to see if it's a possibility.
Yeah.
But as we mentioned before, Jackie, there's some pretty good things happening. The Middle District of Florida is great for bankruptcy. I mean, we
Yes.
really are in one of
yeah.
the best districts. I mean, we have great trustees. Laurie Weathersford's fantastic. Great
Wonderful.
judges here. I mean, it's really a wonderful place to practice bankruptcy law. No doubt about it. And
Yes.
we always seem to be ahead of the curve a little bit. If you owe money, if you're behind on your mortgage or your interest rate's too high, if you file bankruptcy, you're almost guaranteed to be able to go through this modification
Right.
mediation program to help save your home. My understanding is we're working on something like that for student loans.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
Yeah, so I've just been hearing it through the grapevine. I know Lori has been really active in trying to get this implemented across the country, but especially here in Orlando. But basically just saying, let's sit down and meet with the student loan servicers, just like we do with the mortgage servicers, talk about the loan terms. What can we do? Can we modify them? Can we lower the balances, interest rates? Just kind of give the borrowers an opportunity to, you know, handle them, get a fresh start on the student loans, and take care of them in a bankruptcy, as opposed to just pushing them into the unsecured group and dealing with them afterwards.
I agree. So stay tuned. I think we're going to have some really good stuff going on here in the bankruptcy system to help deal with your student loans. And again, if you have questions, 321-282-1055. Jackie, I get concerned sometimes because people will come in the office and say, well, you know, I haven't been paying my student loans, but they called me, and I'll just have to send this in, that in, and they're going to try to work with me. But I get concerned because they will try to take advantage of you. And there are certain
Yes.
things that you can do to try to lower the payment, whether it's file tax returns separately. I mean,
Right.
there are certain things that you can really do to prepare yourself to make the best case for a low payment. And they kind of will suck you in, the student loan company, and say, oh, yeah, just send us this. And next thing you know, your payment's $800 a month.
Yeah.
I mean, there are things that we can do on this side to try to keep that payment really, really low. One of them, I think, is an income-based repayment program.
Yes.
Describe that.
So there's a couple different income-driven repayment plans, and each repayment plan has different requirements for what kind of loans can be in there. So there's a lot of details, and a lot of the times I hear servicers just put them in income-based, but there's also repay and pay. There's other options that are, instead of paying 15% of your disposable income, there's 10%. So those are the nuances that they don't tell you. They just say, oh yeah, income based, and it sounds really great, and if it's lower and you can afford it, you're like, yeah, let me do that, let me take care of it. But we actually know what's best for you, what's the lowest payment going to be, and what your loans are eligible for. A lot of the times I hear the servicers, they don't explain things to the borrowers,
Right.
and they just kind of push people here and there, and they don't know any better. So.
They are debt collectors, ladies
Yeah.
and gentlemen. These are not like, it's not like they're trying to help you get loans anymore like when you were in school. These people are trying to get money out of your pocket.
Exactly.
Immediately. They are debt collectors. It's just like Amex calling you because you haven't paid your Amex bill. It's the same
Yeah.
exact thing. These are debt collectors. Make no mistake. Be very cautious with dealing with them because they will make you think that they work for the government or whatever, and I guess some of them kind of do, but they're debt collectors at the end of the day. They are absolutely debt collectors. So be very, very, very cautious. What is the lowest payment that we can get in an income-based or income-driven repayment program?
Right. 0. We've had many zeros, but just based off your income, your household size, if you're supporting, multiple dependents, they take those factors into consideration. And a lot of the times people can qualify for a $0 payment that counts as an on-time payment. So you're going to be in repayment. You're going to have it reporting positively to your credit. So it's also going to help you just get through life and manage your budget. And then hopefully eventually, have more money coming in and you'll be able to handle a higher payment, but at least offers you the option of being in good standing and not totally, affecting your life and dragging you down.
And people come, it's sad too. People come in, they're so concerned about their credit. They're making their credit card payments on time. They're making their house payments on time, car payments on time. And they're looking to upgrade their house or they're looking to refinance their house because they want to install a pool, whatever. And I don't think people understand that these student loans really can kill your credit, just like any other debt. They will crush your credit and prevent you from getting a loan, getting a car, getting a mortgage. If you're not paying your student loans, I can almost guarantee you that you're going to not get approved for that next loan. And one question that I know you have is there a way, Justin, to totally get rid of my student loans? And there are a couple of applications that you can put in to actually wipe out your student loans. We will give you that answer and play Stump the Clarkie. Right on the other side of this break, it is Behind the Law, ESPN 580 Orlando. All right. Do we have cards?
No. I don't see any.
I think they're maybe in that box. I think that you see that box in the. Yeah, I think the cards are in there, right?
There's some in here. Oh, there's regulars.
All right, you guys ready?
Now back to Behind the Law with Justin Clark, right here on ESPN 580 Orlando.
Welcome back to the show. Another half hour ahead of Behind the Law with me, attorney Justin Clark. If you have any questions whatsoever, 321-282-1055. Also, information is on the website, youhavepower.com. Watch the TV shows this weekend and every weekend. Saturday, 12:30 p.m. on CBS, it is You Have Real Estate with me. And then Sunday morning, it is this show, Behind the Law, but it's Behind the Law on TV. A little behind-the-scenes look at the radio show. It's 10 a.m. on TV 27. If you're going to be away, just DVR them. Watch the show. I think you'll really like them. Brianna is here to my right. Hi, new Brianna. How are you?
I'm doing good.
OG Brianna is out again today. We have no idea where she is.
None.
Has she checked in on Facebook or anything?
I don't know.
If you would, guys, please go to @Behind the Law Radio right now and see if OG Brianna has checked in to let us know where she is. I mean, I have no idea. She was emailing me earlier, too. I was like, well, if you're going to be emailing me, let me know you're not going to do the show with me today. She didn't mention anything about the show. I was like, oh, okay. She's just not here. Maybe, but here's the problem with me. People tell me things all the time, and I completely just kind of blank,
Yeah, maybe
So
she told you and you forgot.
I'm sure she did, but I have no earthly idea where she is. We have Jackie Laverne here today. She is an attorney here in the office handling your student loan problems. Okay, so Jackie, here's what we're going to do in a minute. Don't be nervous.
Okay.
We're going to play a little game. It's called Stump the Clarky, all right? But Brianna likes to see me lose. So it's highly likely that she's going to have some kind of category that you're going to know more about than I do.
Okay.
So don't stress about it whatsoever. It is likely that you're going to win, although I normally end up winning. Brandon Stewart was on the show yesterday. I crushed
Yeah.
him, by the way. He got dominated. He's still, like, licking his wounds. I think he had to have 4 vodkas last night to get over it, you know? But are you ready to play this game?
I'm ready.
And if you want to play along at home at Behind the Law Radio, you can answer it right there for a chance to win my money as well. It's time to play Stump the Clarky.
All right, and now it's time for Stump the Clarky. Come on, Clarky. We need you to get over here. We got some great trivia questions we want you to answer. Come on, Clarky. Get over here.
All right, Brianna, what is said category today?
Today's category is all about student loan debt.
Shocker. I told you, Jackie.
Your category.
Uh-huh. All right. We're going to do 4 questions here. We'll write them all down, Jackie, and then we'll score the game right after. All right, question number 1.
How many Americans have student loan debt?
A lot.
Can I say all? I need an actual number.
How many Americans have student loan debt? Huh. That's a good question. Where'd you get your answers today? It's not all from Wikipedia again, is it?
No, it's from Forbes.
All right, good. I trust Forbes. All right, question number 2.
What state has the highest student loan debt?
I don't know. I'm thinking of 2. All right. Question number 3.
How many Americans have student loan debt greater than $200,000?
Ooh. All dentists, chiropractors, physicians, and a lot of damn lawyers. All right, one final question for a Stump the Clarky tonight. What is it?
How many Americans over the age of 60 have student loan debt?
Oh,
I'm not good with numbers, okay?
yeah, I don't feel very confident with my answers today either.
Making things up.
Over 60 still, huh? But, you know, a lot of people went back to school during the economic collapse of 2008 who were a little bit older because they couldn't get jobs, so they went back to school. They were on, you know, Monster.com or whatever, and all of these for-profit schools were advertising on the job sites. That's where a lot of the student loan issues really came from. All right, we ready to score this game?
Yes.
Let's do it. All right. It's Behind the Law, ESPN 580 Orlando. Attorney Justin Clark versus attorney Jackie Laverne in tonight's edition of Stump the Clarky. All right, question 1.
How many Americans have student loan debt?
Jackie Laverne, our guest, what did you say?
I'm going to lose. 15 million?
I mean, I think that's a pretty good guess. I went with 18 million. What is the right answer?
44 million.
Wow,
Oh, my.
44 million. Aren't there like, what, 300 million people in America or something? That's a... I'll take the point there. Sorry. I feel bad. Am I supposed to call you... I know you're married. Should I call you your... What am I supposed to call you now?
Laverne.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure. All right, so it's 1-0. JC beating JL. All right, question 2.
What state has the highest student loan debt?
All right, I went with trusty West Coast, California.
I went with New York.
That was the other one I was
California.
thinking too.
Yeah.
I feel like New York, you might win this one. What is it?
California.
Oh my
You got
gosh,
it.
I'm sorry. At least we both had the same idea.
New York is
Yeah.
number 2, so
Okay.
you were close.
The good thing is, Jackie, if you get one right on the nose here, you get double points, all right? So it's 2-0, but 2 questions to go. You have plenty of time to come back here. Question 3.
How many Americans have student loan debt greater than $200,000?
Jackie Laverne?
I think mine's going to be too low now, but I said 3 million.
See, I went even lower with 2 million people. What is the right answer?
1 million.
Gosh.
I'm sorry. I feel bad. You want to? We can quit now. That's all right. All right.
It's all
So
right.
question number 3. I hope you get this one exactly right. What is the question?
Number
Or question
4.
whatever. You know what I mean.
How many Americans over the age of 60 have student loan debt?
Yeah, this one was surprising that we even have a question about this because I didn't think it was that many. I went with 1 million. Jackie?
Yeah, I said a lot more than you think, but I said 2 million.
2 million? What's the right
Ooh,
answer?
Jackie, 3 million.
3 million,
my
Jackie.
goodness.
Congratulations. You're on the board. 3 million over 60. I wonder if these are people who went back late in life or they just still have it lingering from when they were in school.
probably
I don't
have
know.
it
A bit of
lingering.
both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. That is a little bit surprising to me. Right? That's a lot of people. Anyway, thank you for playing, Jackie.
Okay,
Thanks.
folks, thank you so much for being with us. Clarky, let's get out of here, buddy. My stomach thinks my throat's cut. I'm starving.
All right, so before the break, we were talking a little bit about the ways you can totally get rid of student loans.
Yeah.
And I realize that this is difficult. It's definitely difficult to just get them wiped out, but there are some ways, some applications that we can send in to get rid of them altogether.
Right.
Describe
yeah.
that.
Yeah, so there's a few different options. Of course, it's the federal government. They're not going to make it super easy, but there are some options out there. So, total and permanent disability. That's a good one. Of course, it's unfortunate if you're actually disabled, but at least they have an opportunity for you to discharge the loans and just deal with your health and your, day-to-day life. There's closed school discharge, which you have to look at when the school closed, when you were enrolled, but that's also an option. And there is the Universal Borrower Defense application, which we talk about a couple of times. And most of the time we do those when we're dealing with those Corinthian colleges and things like that, where there's a lot of fraud going on and inducing borrowers to take out loans without telling them the truth and about how the school actually is. It's not accredited. So that's an option as well. The federal government is supposed to be reviewing those again, but I haven't seen a lot of movement on it.
I heard that if you have a public service job, you can have your loans discharged. Is that true?
Another good one. Public service loan forgiveness. If you're working for the government or a 501c3 for 10 years with 10 years of qualifying payments, then your loans will be discharged as well.
So how do I apply for that?
So you have to do the application. Usually it's done after you've completed your 10 years of payments. You need to be with Fed Loan Servicing. You need to be on income-driven repayment. And then your employer has to fill out forms. So, of course, there's a lot of hoops to jump through. But 10 years, it's a pretty good deal.
So let's say that I get out of law school, $200,000, right? And
Yeah.
I work in the prosecutor's office for the first 5. But then I get a great job offer to go into the private sector.
Yeah.
How does that work?
You still get those 5 years of credit.
Okay.
So if you change, your employment later on, you go back to working for maybe you go to the federal court or something, you can still use those 5 years of payment. They don't just go away, but you got another 5 to do.
Your student loans are getting garnished right now as we speak. How do you stop that immediately? Answers right on the other side of this break. One more segment of Behind the Law on ESPN 580 Orlando. All right. You ready?
Now back to Behind the Law with Justin Clark, right here on ESPN 580 Orlando.
One more segment with me, Justin Clark. Attorney Jackie Laverne is here as well. Brianna, long weekend, guys. Anything planned? Anything fun going on?
Relaxing.
Chilling?
Relaxing.
Brianna?
Yeah. I have my cousin who's having a graduation party tomorrow.
Yeah, all
that I
these
forgot
graduation
about.
parties. Yeah, I do want to say happy graduation to all of you graduates out there. I'm sorry to be having this conversation about student loans, but once you graduate, the graduation speeches should all involve life's about to get real for you in just a minute. And a lot of us I didn't grow up rich by any stretch of the
Right.
imagination. In fact, I would say, my dad wasn't really around. So it was my mom really taking care of all 3 of us boys. It's tough. It is tough out there. She didn't have any help from my dad at all. So it's not like they were going to pay for my college. They couldn't pay for my college. It's not possible. And I think 80% of Americans are in the same boat that I was in. And the only option is you don't go to college or you take out student loans, right?
Right.
And then what happens is once you get out of college, the student loans really start adding up quickly. Even when you get out, you can apply for a forbearance 6 months. They'll probably even give you a couple years, you know?
Yeah.
But it's not like, oh, you know what? We're not going to charge interest during this time. If you take out 20 grand, that 20 grand is going to be 40 by the time you start paying it. And then you're like, oh man, I'm not really making a lot of money yet because I'm new to my career. And next thing you know, your wages are getting garnished, Jackie. My
Yes.
wages are getting garnished by my student loan company. How much can they take every week, and what can I do to stop it?
I believe it's up to 15% of every paycheck, which is usually going to add up to more than what the normal monthly payment is going to be. So it can be very, very crippling to someone to get, $400 taken out every paycheck. So that's a huge issue. The best way of stopping it, or Wayne's favorite way of stopping it, is bankruptcy. But there are other options. You don't always have to file bankruptcy to stop the wage garnishment. A lot of the times we do a rehabilitation of the loans, which is 9 payments in 10 months. And then at the 5th payment, you will have the garnishment stopped, and you can accelerate payments. Some companies are different with how they do it. You just have to talk to them, figure out how they work their program. And usually those payments are affordable. It could be as low as $5. And then once the garnishment stops, they also will take you off the tax refund offset list. And then your loans will be in good standing after you complete the rehabilitation program. We've also found that you can consolidate your loans to stop a garnishment immediately if you've already rehabilitated them, because you're only allowed to do that once per the life of the loans.
Yeah, my head is spinning a little bit right now, but this is why I mean it in a way that the student loan companies make it seem somewhat simple to resolve these problems. But everything that
Usually
we're
isn't.
talking about right now, I mean, it's confusing. Even for
Yeah.
us, sometimes we get confused. So that's why I really think that if you have student loan issues, your children have student loan issues, you might want to come talk to an attorney who handles student loans, because there are a lot of different options. And you really need to know what you're about. That's a big deal. I mean, we're really committing to a lifetime of payments in a lot of ways, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And it's one of those things where you need professional help. I think it's not that expensive either. I mean, it's not like we're going to charge you an hourly fee, and by the time you're done, it's going to cost you 15 grand to get it done. We charge a low flat fee to really help with these problems, and I think it's certainly well worth it. Let me ask you another question, Jackie.
Sure.
Let's say that I had some sort of criminal charge in my past from when I was a child, right? Teenager, whatever
Right.
it was. And that criminal charge is going to prevent me from being a police officer later in life, or prevent me from taking the state board for whatever I'm going to go to school for.
Yeah.
But I go to the school to prepare for that, and they know that I have this charge, but they take me anyway. Is there
Yeah.
anything I can do with those student loans?
Usually we go with universal borrower defense application. That's a very broad application that allows for more specific scenarios, and you can give more detailed information on how the school misled you, frauded you, and if you have evidence, you can attach it, emails, names of people you spoke to, because they were doing that just to get you in the school and get your money, and then you can figure out later when you can't pursue your career.
What about these schools that did shut down? Let's say that I went to school, finished my degree, I got that little piece of paper. It was pretty much worthless, of course, but then the school shut down afterwards. Is there anything I can do?
We have to know the time frame in which when it closed and when you graduated, or if you were still there. A lot of the schools, I think of Everest right off the top of
Yeah,
my head.
me too.
That's a big one. We have a lot of clients come in who went there and essentially got nothing and have tons of debt is what they got. There's specific discharges for that school. We just have to look at the program and the years you were in. So there are options. We just have to look at the details.
I have a question. If someone defaulted on their student loans, how long would it take for them to get out of default? Do you know?
You can consolidate immediately, and then once you are consolidated, that's a brand new loan.
Oh, okay.
So then you get into a payment. If you rehabilitate, they will take the default off of your credit report. That's the one I mentioned earlier. That was 9 payments in 10 months.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so there are two things you were talking about earlier in this whole income-driven or income-based repayment program. One is if you're a federal or state worker. Is that what you were talking about? Or a governmental employee? What is it that I can get rid of them in 10 years?
Yeah, the public service loan forgiveness.
Now, let's say that I get in one of those programs, and that's 10 years, right? And after 10 years,
Yes.
it's wiped out typically.
Yeah.
Let's say I miss one payment. What are they going to do?
You don't want to miss a
Yeah.
payment. You don't want to miss a payment. You want to make sure you recertify every year on time. You're not going to lose the payments, but they are just going to say, no, we need another year from you or whatever, they're going to be very, very particular because you are getting a huge benefit of getting the loans discharged or forgiven, as they like to call it. So you really need just to be on top of your record keeping and just make sure everything's going out every month as planned.
Let's say that I'm in an income-driven repayment program, but I'm not a governmental employee.
Right.
Is there also a forgiveness program during that process?
Yes, so they call it loan forgiveness. So you're going to pay on the income-driven repayment plan for 20 years, 25 years, whatever it is for your loans. After you complete the 20 years, then they will forgive the balance. Because when you're paying on income-driven, it's only going towards interest, essentially. So you're going to pay a good amount over the years. After that, the rest of the balance is going to be discharged. So 20 years of paying, and then you're done with them.
The only issue we're having right now with some of these people that we're seeing get discharged is there's a 1099 that's sent out at the end. So you got to be really careful because you're going to get a 1099 for all of the money that's discharged. So, you know, you could have a real taxable event during that year. So you got to be careful that year with filing your returns and making sure you can do the insolvency worksheet or whatever to try to avoid paying taxes on that. But it does look like let's say they waive $80,000.
Right.
It really looks like you made $80,000 that year in extra income, even though obviously you didn't.
Right.
It's almost like people who did a short sale back in the day. If they owed $300,000, did a short sale for $200,000, you would get a 1099-C for that $100,000, the cancellation of debt. So if you are getting a discharge, be careful. Make sure you have a good accountant who knows what they're doing when it comes to dealing with it. All right, Jackie Laverne, the future of student loans and how we deal with them. What do you see happening in the future?
Hopefully a lot of change. Hopefully, the discharge programs stick around, that they don't go anywhere. The income-driven repayment plans, I think they're great. I think they give people options and allow them to maintain, normal life, monthly bills, and get by and not be totally weighed down by their student loans. Bankruptcy seems to have a lot of positive things coming in it, so I really like to see what's going to happen with that. I'm hoping that with administration changes in the government that we don't go the opposite direction. Hopefully just go forward and really give people the fresh start in the student loan world that they need.
Do you feel like the right or the left, Republican or Democrat, is better or worse for helping us deal with student loans? Or
I think it's really particular to the person because I've seen different sides have different opinions on it. Right now, they don't seem very student loan friendly, but we'll see what happens.
If you have any issues with your student loans or someone you know has issues, I'm inviting you in right now for a meeting with me and Jackie Laverne. 321-282-1055. This meeting will cost you exactly $0. We'll sit down with you. We'll review it. And look, if we don't think we can help or you're already in the best program, we're going to tell you that. We're going to say, great to meet you. If you ever need us for anything, please call us again.
Yep.
But if we really do think we can help you, we're going to work with you for a low, small, flat fee that's going to be affordable for you. Any questions at all? 321-282-1055. Answers also are on the website, youhavepower.com. Don't forget to watch the TV shows this weekend, Saturday, 12:30 p.m. on CBS. It's You Have Real Estate with me, attorney Justin Clark. And then it's this show, Behind the Law, on TV, Sunday mornings at 10 a.m., TV 27. Jackie Laverne, great job today. Thank you for joining me.
Yes.
I guess we'll go back to work now.
Yeah,
the fun part of the day is over. Brianna, excellent job today. I wish you an awesome weekend. And I don't know much, Brianna, but I do know one little thing.
What's that?
I'll see you right back here tomorrow night on ESPN 580 Orlando. All right, good job. Thanks for watching, guys.
Man, I failed.
We are